Tech leaders like Sam Altman have publicly suggested that artificial general intelligence could eventually grant humanity godlike powers, solving our most complex worldly problems. This promise relies on a materialist view of the universe. If you view the human brain as a biological machine, then achieving artificial general intelligence represents a literal path to digital transcendence. But relying entirely on humanistic principles to build our ethical guardrails leaves a massive blind spot. The current framework for ethical AI largely ignores the viewpoints of the vast majority of the global population, who filter their understanding of right and wrong through a religious lens. In response, we are seeing the emergence of explicit theological counternarratives. The Southern Baptist Convention's Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission published a statement of principles to outline exactly how evangelical Christians should approach this technology. The core argument is straightforward. Technology is a God-given tool born from human creativity. But because we live in a fallen world, our tools inevitably amplify human sinfulness alongside our capacity for good. Secular ethics prioritize procedural safety and risk mitigation, yet they lack the framework to address the spiritual motivations that drive how we actually use our power. The foundation of this Christian blueprint starts in Genesis with Imago Dei, the doctrine that human beings, and only human beings, are created in the image of God. Because humans possess a unique soul and inherent moral agency, we hold a specific authority on earth. We can outsource calculations and pattern recognition to machines, but we can never delegate our ultimate moral responsibility. This creates hard limits for high-stakes scenarios. When considering military applications like drone strikes, the Christian framework insists that fully autonomous weapons must never be allowed to make final life-and-death decisions. This boundary extends directly into the social sphere. Using AI chatbots as a substitute for genuine relational intimacy treats human connection as something that can be simulated by code, degrading our biological and spiritual design as relational beings. Artificial intelligence must be restricted to a supportive role, functioning as a tool for human enhancement while leaving moral choice and relational depth exclusively to people. This understanding of human nature dictates how we must write and review code. While secular fairness often focuses on making algorithms mathematically blind to certain traits, biblical justice demands an active awareness of historical inequities and structural sin. This illustrates the problem. Asymmetric data representing flawed human history flows into a neutral algorithm. Because engineers are fallible, outputs naturally scale existing biases. The real-world harm is visible. Criminal justice and automated hiring systems systematically penalize marginalized demographics while actively favoring others. Blind trust in an algorithm violates the mandate to protect the vulnerable. Christian ethics demand rigorous, continuous auditing of these systems to actively seek out and correct hidden discrimination. Artificial intelligence is a mirror reflecting fallen humanity, not an objective truth-teller. Achieving actual justice requires intentional human intervention to rectify systemic harms. Managing that technology falls directly under the biblical command of stewardship. Humans are tasked with responsibly governing the earth, prioritizing long-term wisdom over short-term gains. That grounded approach stands in sharp contrast to the culture driving modern tech development, where the pursuit of a digital utopia is heavily incentivized by massive corporate wealth. There is a profound theological danger here. The desire to conquer mortality by uploading human consciousness to a server is the modern equivalent of the Tower of Babel, an attempt to reach heaven through engineering rather than faith. True stewardship of artificial intelligence requires demanding transparency in model training, ensuring environmental sustainability, and optimizing for the common good, instead of treating the machine as a savior. When we elevate a tool to the status of a deity to be worshipped, we forfeit our God-given responsibility to actually govern creation. This is why the evangelical framework demands we move past the baseline language of ethical AI. A system designed merely to avoid explicit harm is hitting the lowest possible standard. The higher calling is what we might term righteous AI. This framework recognizes that the ultimate constraints on our most powerful technologies must be rooted in moral and spiritual commitments, not just technical patches. The mechanisms of code have hard limits. No matter how many parameters you add to a neural network, you cannot program an algorithm to execute actual grace, mercy, or self-giving love. Directing these tools safely requires a primary focus on human spiritual maturity, as even perfect software can be weaponized by the character of the operator directing it. If we ground our development in the firm belief that only humans bear the image of God, we keep our tools in their proper place. We can safely use artificial intelligence to bless humanity and glorify the Creator, instead of bowing down to the things we've made.